история.
Ну ты их точно, шанс есть. Без дати,
Foodie party got. So these are like just harvested. Normally, like potatoes, when just harvested, like skins are peeling off, and then when they're out of the soil for a while, they develop new skin. See, like the skin is coming off, and it's really thin. And when it dries out, new skin develops, and it becomes like that. Marniuli. Yeah, so these potatoes are from Marniuli. This is like a farming area in Georgia. It's well known for like farming. It's towards the border of Azerbaijan. From Vil. It's radis. It's a kilo. Nakhibar kilo munda.
Nakhibar kilo.
It's a kilo radis.
Kilo samula. Yani kit kenda.
Ne saçma bu oluyorsa
Gindan, New York gindan.
Orilari sari.
Orilari. Malova. Nuts, cheese. These are just nuts corner. These are the best spice lady. Mama Jogot. Kondari.
Georgian.
What's Kosminelli?
Ara, Hacho.
Oh, Kharchusnelli. Oh, Kharchusnelli, yeah. Yeah. So it's full of fenugreek. So the fenugreek is like they put it on Kharchusnelli or spaghetti salt. That's what makes it pungent. It's the fenugreek.
Es universal. Universal chicken.
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 Okay, yeah.
Es Tandoori Marili.
Tandoori Marili, okay. So this is spaghetti and salt. So Kharchusnelli and spaghetti salt have this pungent taste, smell, and taste, and then that smell is coming from fenugreek. You know, it's blue fenugreek, and they put it on a lot of spices in Georgia. Oh wow, this is really pungent. It smells like Indian tele cherry pepper. Very strong. Wow. These are bearberries. They use it in Middle Eastern cuisine too, but in Georgia they use it a lot for spicing meats. They put it on meats and stuff. So you got here caraway seeds. This is what makes the spaghetti and salt. The pungent smell of spaghetti and salt is coming from this spice. It's called fenugreek. And you got coriander seeds in there. Yeah, it's Georgian coriander. Oh, so this is a very expensive spice. Sakeli? Vanilla gitsuri. So, and this is expensive. It's like 30 lari for 100 grams, and it's a very special spice. They use it for kubdari from spaghetti and khinkali. You got all the khimali, green and red khimali. So wine too. Wine, house wine. Alright, so we go? Hi guys, this is Rex. I'm here in the Kazbegi region. We're just near the town Stepansminda. We're in about 2,200 meters elevation, and behind me is a 14th century church. And today we're gonna be cooking 3 dishes that's famous in this region. One is chlovani. It's basically a type of khachapuri. It's a version from this region that contains wild stinging nettles. People in the city usually use spinach, but we're gonna use wild stinging nettles that we foraged earlier. We're also gonna be making khinkali, and we're also gonna be making the famous mtsvadi. And what makes mtsvadi different from, let's say, shashlik is mtsvadi is cooked in grapevine sticks, and you basically torch the whole thing and into embers and then cook the barbecue on that. So let's get cooking. So the first thing that we're gonna make is a khachapuri dough, since we're making khachapuri. So we're gonna have some milk, some oil, we need egg yolk, and then we need a little yeast. We'll mix that up, put a little salt, mix that up, and we put the flour. You can use your hand, but if you don't want to get dirty, especially if you're located in a mountain, there's no water supply, you can like use your spoon and knead it with a spoon, and then once it comes together, more flour, and then you let it rest, and you put it aside and cover it and let it rest for like 30 minutes. So that's done. Now we're gonna make the khinkali dough.
Actually.
Okay, so the next dish we're gonna be making khinkali. So first we're gonna make the khinkali dough. So first flour, 2 cups, half a cup water, whole egg, mix it up, then you knead it, keep kneading it so until it's smooth, and then you gotta let this dough rest for another half hour. And while that's resting, we're gonna make our khinkali filling. Okay, that should be good. And now we let it rest. Okay, so usually the khinkali filling is 50% beef and 50% pork, and so we have these beef mix. We're first gonna put some black peppers, some savory. In Georgia it's called kondari. Got these little baggies with me. It's nice and convenient. If you're done, just throw it out. You can lick it too if you want. So I'm gonna put here little coriander powder. Okay, we're gonna add a little bit of cumin in it, and then red pepper flakes, and then a little salt, mix it up, and we're gonna add there a little water. This is what makes it soupy. In Asia, when they make soup dumplings, they usually add pork or chicken gelatin, but in Georgia, they just use water, and then it makes its own juice. You know, you slowly incorporate water. So when you boil the khinkali, it's soupy in the inside. And then normally you want this a little watery. The more water it is, the more soupy the khinkali is going to be. So you want the texture. Kind of like this. So it's a little wet. Maybe make it a little bit more wet, probably. So we're gonna have very soupy khinkali. And that's good to go. That's the most simple filling for khinkali. Okay, so we're gonna make mtsvadi. This is a pork marinated already with kondari, which is like savory, wild mountain savory, red chili flakes, salt, coriander, and some vinegar. And that's like basic mtsvadi marinade. Then we're gonna have to grill it on vine sticks. So this is a classic Georgian mtsvadi barbecue sticks. And so we're gonna, these parts of pork is like a pork belly and pork shoulder. And it's good to combine both because you want a little bit of that fat, so it cooks perfectly. You know, so there's 3 of us here, so maybe I will make 3 or 4. So just put it right in the middle. The difference between shashlik and mtsvadi is shashlik is just cooked in charcoal. In Georgia, all the barbecue pork that is mtsvadi is cooked in grapevine sticks, because traditionally Georgia is it's the birthplace of wine, and there's grapevines everywhere. And usually they trim these grapevines in the winter or just before spring, so to keep it growing. And then they have to do something with this, and it's amazing flavor. It's super tasty. It has better flavor than just charcoal. So for the countries out there with no grapevine sticks, I mean, you can use charcoal, it's fine. But if you live near a vineyard or a wine country, try to score some of that grapevine sticks. And make sure it's dry, because it's pain in the ass to like light them up. When they're wet, it takes a long time for them to burn up, because you need to burn them up into an embers so that you just cook them on the charcoal of the grapevine sticks. So there you go. That's mtsvadi. You're gonna saute it. So this chlovani is basically the mountain version of khachapuri, but they just add herbs to it. Normally they use spinach, but here in Kazbegi we got some chinchari, which is wild stinging nettles, and you have to be careful harvesting them. You need gloves, but once you cook them, it doesn't sting you anymore. And so we're just gonna add that to the cheese here, and then this cheese will go inside the pie, which is called chlovani. Okay, so now we're gonna make the chlovani. So this is the dough. It's been resting for like 1 hour. Little flour. He's gonna roll it thin. So roll it thin like that, and then we add cheese in the middle. I mean, try to pack cheese tight in there. Okay, now we're gonna close it in. It's, you know, the techniques are very similar to khinkali, you know, it's like khachapuri and khinkali have very similar techniques. They're just like, you roll the dough flat, you stuff it, except for the khachapuri and chlovani, you just kind of close it in, and then you have to roll it flat. But you have to be gentle when you're rolling it flat, because it could burst open. So how thin you want it? You want it like fairly thin, like a half a finger length thin. I mean, if there's air inside, maybe like kind of release that air, because you don't want that in cooking. It will burst and explode during cooking. And that's it. I think that'll fit in the cast iron. Now we're gonna take it to the cast iron pan. We're gonna bring this spray and I'm just gonna cover it and let it cook. So fucking beautiful here. I mean, there's giant mountains there. There's 14th century church here. So we're gonna cook the mtsvadi. There's already some charcoal in there. We're just gonna create embers with these grape sticks. So these grape sticks, what makes it called mtsvadi, because Georgia is the birthplace of wine and it's a wine country, and they use these grape sticks, which gives it a very, very delicious, distinctive flavor. And you cannot recreate this using charcoal. We'll just wait, because these grape sticks are already dry. It will eventually burn. Okay, so now we're gonna make a khinkali. These are the khinkali dough that we made earlier. It's been resting for like an hour and a half, something like that. So we're just gonna roll it into a log, and then we're gonna portion it. We're gonna try to make decent sized khinkali. It's very similar technique making Chinese xiaolongbao, but don't tell Georgians that these are Chinese. But khinkali originated from Mongolia, and it arrived in Georgia like a long time ago, and they were taken in here. But it's called Monty, as far as I know, in Mongolia. But in Georgia they call it khinkali, and it's a little bit larger. Just like soup dumpling, but Georgian way. This is almost like a national dish. So we're gonna roll it flat. First you do step by step. You roll it into a bowl and you roll it flat before you start making khinkali. You need the dough ready to go, so you can just roll. You can just stuff it. All right, so now we're gonna cook this mtsvadi. This wood is ready to go. Okay, see, it's completely gray. We will give it 2 minutes and we will flip it, and then again another 2 minutes, and then another last 2 minutes. It takes around 6 minutes depending on how hot it is. It's fairly hot, so it will cook really good. So now we're gonna roll the khinkali of meat in there, about that much, and then we're gonna roll it in xiaolongbao. You need 21 creases. In khinkali they said 18, something like these. gonna cut the tops. A cigar cutter. And let's do khinkali.
Alalım 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 bir cav alalım alalım alalım.
So at every episode, we're going to be featuring a Georgian winemaker. Today we're going to be drinking Superabi, a Saperabi by Lapati Winery. It's called Marani. The word Marani in Georgian is winery. Lapati Winery from Saga Regio in Kaheti. This is 100% Saperabi, Saperabi grapes, and it's 2 weeks carbon maceration and 8 months in Quevri, unfiltered. Very fruity and tasty. So we're gonna open this bottle and enjoy it with our dinner. Okay. Look at how deep red that is. Ruby red, unfiltered. So guys, thank you for joining us. Another amazing adventure. And we're going to be doing more traveling and cooking Georgian food and drinking Georgian wine as we explore beautiful sceneries in Georgia. So please hit the subscribe button for more videos, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care.